Prior to the absolutely huge contest in Pool B this weekend between Ireland and South Africa, I've identified each team's 5 key routes to victory. Now these are 5 things I believe each team needs to do exceptionally well and take advantage of in order to win this Saturday. As always, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. What do you think Ireland and South Africa respectively need to do exceptionally well to come away victorious this Saturday? First of all, I'm going to start off with Ireland. Point number 1, forward mobility. Now the general consensus is the Boks have the slightly more powerful and strong pack, and the Irish is a little bit more mobile and a little bit sort of quicker on their feet. I believe this is something that the Irish really do need to take advantage of. They've got some brilliantly talented forwards with great hands and great footwork. How can they use these little tip passes and footwork at the line to really beat the Bok defence? Now we all know if line speed is coming up really hard and fast and you manage to offset it, use your feet, then throughout the course of the game, line speed will slowly decrease. Now this is something that the Irish can really take advantage of, and you look at the likes of Tadhg Beirne, Tadhg Furlong, their ability to put these little soft, deft touches in really, in my opinion, prove as a point of difference for the Irish. Point number 2, this is not something they need to do, it's something that they've been doing. Andy Farrell has to take a lot of credit for this, and it's the continuity in selection. Now, you probably favour Ireland to have the slightly smoother oiled machine. A lot of combinations in that team of Bundy Aki, Ringrose that have been playing together for quite a while now and have had a couple sort of games strung together in which they can really gel. So I think that will prove pivotal for Ireland. Point number 3, speed of ball. This is going to be vital, and I've even put Jamison Gibson-Park's initials there, as he's going to be the key to that in this game, and maybe Conor Murray off of the bench. Now look, speed of ball is vital for the Irish. You've got a really big Bok forward pack that you're competing against. How can you use the speed of ball to move these big forwards around, potentially increase some fatigue into their legs, and sort of take the sting out of their physicality? Now look, the speed of ball, not only to tire out the Boks is going to be crucial, but to create some edges. Now look, the Irish have got some absolutely lethal finishers, and that speed of ball to sort of really create those overlaps, and when you do have the overlap, exploit it, is going to be vital. We all know if the speed of ball's slow and really sort of lethargic, which as an England supporter I'm relatively used to, you do miss out on your opportunities, and a sort of a 4-on-2 becomes a 4-on-3, and if it's really slow, a 4-on-2 becomes a 4-on-4, as the defence can just drift. So that's going to be crucial for Ireland. Point number 4, goal kicking. Now look, I'd definitely favour Johnny Sexton in the goal kicking competition against Manie Libbok. I don't believe the Boks, I mean, they've got some decent goal kickers. Manie Libbok's all right. You've got Willemse and you've got Faf de Klerk, but none of them, in my opinion, are world class. And I think you'd have to say Johnny Sexton's a world class goal kicker on his day. So look, I believe Ireland, anything really 45 metres out or less, they can really look to extend their lead by 3 points, which could prove pivotal in this match. Look, you never know. The Boks kickers, whether it's Willemse, Libbok or Faf, they could have a worldie, so you never know. Maybe that won't be a point of difference, but it's something that I've identified as definitely a strength that the Irish have over the Boks. Point number 5, ball in play time. Now, I think this is going to be really important to, as I mentioned earlier, really move this big forward pack around. I definitely think the Irish are the more fit of the two sides. Maybe the fitness doesn't necessarily matter too much because you've got the 7-1 split on the bench where a fresh pack of forwards is going to come on, well, pretty much, which is crazy to think of. But when I talk about fitness in rugby, I don't necessarily mean the ability to go into the 70th, 80th minute. I generally mean when the phases clocks up to around 10 to 15 phases, which the Irish are very capable of doing. They resource their rucks really well. How can your big forwards, your likes of your Kitshoffs, keep getting off the floor and creating that defensive line? Now, look, the Irish have really got to take the phase count, really sort of 10 plus, and I really think they'll reap some massive rewards. If it's not going to be tries, it will definitely be penalties, as the Boks tend to get tired around the sort of 10 phase count, and discipline. Obviously, you give away more penalties the more tired you are generally. So maybe that's a point for Ireland. Well, look, it does come with its own risks. They've got some really good attacking threats of Colby, Arantza and Willemse, so you have to be careful where you kick. But let me know if you think that's a silly idea or a good idea. Please do let me know. Now on the Boks side, forward power. I mean, you could have guessed that one. Really have to take it to the Irish. They've got some amazing, huge ball carriers in that team, and 7 of them coming off of the bench. So Look, I think it's going to be a Route 1 sort of choice for the Boks to really try and dominate physically, both in attack and defence. So that's going to be huge for them. Now, the next two sort of come, sort of like branch off of the forward power term. You've got scrum time. Look, the Boks really have to hone in on this and look to really eke scrum penalties out of the Irish. I think there's not going to be a lot between the two back lines, so if you can keep that ball in the scrum, even if the refs sort of wanting you to use it, just keep it in, grind out that penalty, and then advance up the pitch. Now, that is a nice segue onto point number 3. Once they've gained that field position via a kick to touch, how can they use their driving maul? Now, we all know the Irish have got relatively good maul defence, but the Boks on their day can really, really string together a lovely driving maul. So, look, they've got some big ball carriers in there, and they're very good at driving mauls also. If you think Etzebeth goes up to catch that ball, he's an absolute lump. You've got the likes of Kitsoff in there, probably Vermeulen. You've got huge amounts of power coming off of the bench. And maybe on the sort of first 3 driving mauls, it might not be clicking for the Boks, but it's sort of like the 6th, 7th, 8th driving maul as the Irish potentially wilt under the huge pressure of that driving maul. Maybe that's where they can reap rewards. Point number 4, reduce the pace of the game. Now, we all know that the Irish love a really nice fast pace of game. My mind sort of flicks back to the Ireland-France first half of the Six Nations, where there was like 35 points scored, if not more. Unbelievable start to that game. So the Boks will really want to take the sting out of the game early on. Sort of the ways you can do this is your kicks to touch. Obviously make sure they don't go infield, but if they are going off the pitch, sort of get it 10-15 metres off the pitch as opposed to 2 or 3, which results in the inability to take a quick line out and just takes the sting out of the game. Conversely, maybe the Boks do want a little bit of a higher tempo game in parts, as they've got 7 forwards coming off the bench. Maybe they do trust their forwards to sort of be able to go that 50 minutes, but a real hard, fast-paced 50 minutes. Who knows? You can't predict anything with Rassie Erasmus. That leads us on to the 7-1 split. Look, as I said, you can't predict that coming up. I thought it might be a 6-2. Didn't think it was going to be a 7-1. So look, there you go. My thoughts on this. I've heard a lot of people sort of whinging and, it's not good for the game, and look, World Rugby need to change the law. The laws are the laws. The Boks have selected within the laws. And look, I don't think it's actually a huge advantage. I'm being blatantly honest here. Look, every advantage has its disadvantage. The Boks will have the fresher forward pack for the majority of the second half. But if you just think, what if 2 of the key Bok players get injured in the backs? What if, for example, Faf de Klerk and LeBlanc, they go to tackle Doris off of the base of a scrum? They both clash heads, right? And they have to go off a HIA, which isn't too rare in rugby. What do? They bring Kogos Ryanak off of the bench, right? And they've got to probably bring in, Willemser to 10, and then who goes to fullback? They're going to have to then bring a sort of a Quagga Smith into the backs, and it throws an absolute spanner in the works. So look, that is something in which they have to balance that risk. So if you look at Ireland, if Sexton and Gibson Park clash heads and they have to go off HIAs, you just bring Conor Murray and Jack Crowley on, like simple as that. So look, there is risks with doing it. Potentially it might be a little bit overpowered when you come to sort of scrum and maul time, but look, we'll see how it pans out. I'm sure the Irish will have certain answers and certain things to say about the 7-1 split. They'll be really wanting to prove that they can match the physicality, even with the Boks having 2 extra forwards off of the bench. But look, these are the 5 key things I've identified on both sides of the coin. I think it's going to be an absolutely incredible game. Let me know if you think there's other tactics that I've missed out. Maybe there's a couple other things in which either team should look to do. Generally, sort of brief summary is the Irish want to keep the game nice and high paced, keep the ball moving, lots of passing, a lot of tip passes, a lot of sort of thinking rugby and playing in the right areas. Whereas the Boks, they'll also want to play in the right areas, but they want to be more Route 1, more attritional, maybe reduce the pace of the game slightly a little bit. And when it comes to the sort of set piece, that's where they're going to want to dominate. But as I say, in all of these areas that I've mentioned, I'm sure either Irish fans or South African fans will have something to say. Look, the top and the bottom of it is it's going to be an absolutely huge contest, and one even as a neutral, I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below, both tactically and as the game as a whole. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.